Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends, and glad you could attend. Come inside, Movie Maniacs, as we take a look at the independent horror film called The Killing Games from Canada, brought to us by Barry J. Gillis, who wrote and directed this story about a man who's debating on whether or not to go out and take the law into his own hands after his daughter shows up distraught at the fact that she witnessed a double homicide by two crazed serial killers, plus her friend has gone mysteriously missing. We also get the story of a group of thieves who are looking to put themselves on the map and hit the big leagues with one last heist. But of course, things don't exactly go according to plan for them, and we watch how these two storylines collide together in the film called The Killing Games. Yes, folks, Barry J. Gillis, that name may sound familiar. He came out with a low-budget, independent, micro-budget film shot on video many years ago called Things. I had the pleasure of talking about it on the Drunk on VHS podcast recently, and it's an interesting film. I watched it a while back, and it definitely has its moments, to be sure. You know, it is one of those obscure kind of cult films that's kind of hard to find nowadays, I do believe, unless it was released recently on DVD. It might have been for a while. But, you know, Things... It was rough. It was rough, but it was interesting in spots. And this is Barry's third film, and I will say there's been much improvement overall in his filmmaking and storytelling technique, as well as the writing. Now, we get some great performances in here. One by John Scott, who plays Dirty Jesus. He's one of the two serial killers that are the crazy guys that the daughter witnessed killing people. And definitely a scary character. I liked the character of Dirty Jesus and how they kind of set him up as I mean, he played the part and looked the part totally. You could see this being some crazy serial killer guy that lives out in the woods. Now, his partner, Son of Satan, I found a bit humorous in his performance. Not sure if I was supposed to, but entertaining to be sure. These two really made for a bit of an odd couple. But they have some interesting dialogue in Kitchen that I really enjoyed. And overall, we don't get a lot of screen time with these two characters. And I almost kind of was hoping for more screen time. So maybe there'll be another film that comes out soon that features only Dirty Jesus and Son of Satan. Because they are definitely two interesting characters I would have liked to see more of, but they do play integral parts in the overall plot of the story. Now, the other person you have in here is Kelly A.H. Bird. He plays Birdman, the guy who's debating on whether or not to go out and hunt for these serial killers that, you know, his daughter saw kill these people in the woods, and I really liked his performance. It was decent. You know, I mean, we're still talking independent, low-budget film, so you get your acting where you can, and so with most of these characters, the acting is decent. Some are better than others, but overall, they're at least playing characters and doing a good attempt at it. I enjoyed the group of thieves that you have in here as well. Variety of characters in there. They're not all quite the same, which you can sometimes run into in films like this when you get a group like that. So definitely some distinguishable characters in there and separation. They all had their own quirks, especially the one guy who talks like a wrestler. Yeah! I loved him. He was definitely a character, but they had an interesting story as well, and it took a while to find out how these two stories would collide, but they do, which it had me worried for a while there. I thought, you know, okay, we get these two separate stories. How are they going to actually mesh up? And then we see they do. In an explosive ending, I will say the film does get more disturbing and dark as it goes on, with not only the thieves who do some disturbing things, but with Son of Satan and Dirty Jesus, when they show up again, it's like the trigger's pulled, and then things get really, really intense. Some great performance by the female actor in here as well for what they had to go through in the ending of this film. It will surprise you how it just kind of bam, and then you're like, oh man, someone just let the crazies out. So I really enjoyed how it kind of got darker, how they brought the two stories together, and then the rather disturbing, explosive finish to this film. Definitely an improvement over his first venture. Barry J. Gillis does bring us a disturbing and interesting tale. There's not a whole lot I had a whole lot of problems with. There were a few scenes that kind of went, I thought, a little bit too long, and maybe could have been a little better shot, but again, it's still a small budget budget film, so you do have to, you do have to let some of those things go, but they were just some things that I noticed. But overall, I thought it was a decent film. I stayed entertained and interested in the characters. There are some disturbing things in here, as well as you would expect from a low-budget cinema, and I recommend it to anyone who likes independent cinema, especially the Canucksploitation films, as they're sometimes labeled as, because it's definitely probably one of his best efforts to date, and I can't wait to see what Barry J. Gillis has up his sleeve next. And that'll about do it for us here at The Final Cut. Till next time, folks, remember, keep that ticket stub.